Oh, yeah. It's the sweet, sweet sounds of another episode of the Social Distance Drinking Club. This time, we're talking football, beer, chicken wings, whatever. You know, I miss sports. I miss guide time. I miss talking about exciting things.
Did you not miss me?
No, I mean, we missed you. Welcome back, Adam. It's nice to have you. I didn't notice you.
Wait, you were gone?
That's kind of thing. If not, you know.
It's amazing. Everything was just
no, other way.
Can I get in on this?
All right.
Anyone who just turned the show on and saw three dudes randomly throwing at a screen, it was sorry. Thanks for joining us, guys. We're gonna go ahead and
proud of that.
What are you drinking? Tell us in the comments. Let's go around the room. Adam Ledford.
The can you heard cracking is Black Stack Brewing Double Dry Hop Dad Jokes.
Nice.
Oh yeah, just dropped today. St. Paul, Minnesota. New to Arizona as far as I know. It's new to me, that's for sure. So very much looking forward to that. I just polished off a No Comfort, so I'm just sticking with my lager glassware. Forgive me, everyone.
That No Comfort is so good. So good.
It really is.
Oh, good.
Brett Berry, what you got?
Well, I'm finishing off the Pure West Pure Project West Coast IPA that Mr. Green dropped off for me so kindly and brought back from San Diego.
This guy, right? Because you went somewhere, right? You went somewhere.
Brett, what'd you think of the Pure West?
I think it's a solid down the middle West Coast one. That Nothing Is Real Strawberry Sour was. Also, we may have already opened one of the sour bottles you brought, but I have not opened any of the
when you said like everything on that menu, every IPM, like pretty much the entire menu is things that you would probably like.
See, but
you're starting to realize why I like Pure Project.
You went and gave him beer, but you didn't bring me any.
You don't live in Central Phoenix like Brett and I do.
Did you not take a drive back? Because we're going to touch on that in a little bit.
The drive back doesn't go through Chandler.
I thought it comes up south through like the I-8 doesn't come to the 10. Is that not how that works?
Not on the way where we were going to, no, you were not on the way. But I do have beer for you.
Okay, I'll take it. But yes, you were gone. You went to San Diego. You flew to San Diego, masked up and everything, but decided to drive back. Not because we made you fill an entire suitcase with beer, but we did.
First off, I'm drinking a Bottle Logic, the fourth wall.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Thank you.
Yeah,
you just broke the fourth wall. Thank you.
Good stuff. Proper glassware. Adam Green, very nice.
Oh, it's not a stasis project, so it's kinda, but it is a Bottle Logic glass, and
yeah.
Well, tell us about your trip, my friend. You have returned from San Diego.
Yeah. My fiance's birthday was last Thursday, and we booked this trip. I don't know, April, when we're like everything was super cheap. Flights were really cheap. The hotel was way less expensive than it normally would have been. And we're like, oh, numbers are going to start to go down. Things are looking pretty good by the time, late June rolls around. And then it got towards late June. And we're like, well, we have this trip planned and numbers are not doing great. And, what do we do here? And, like we've all talked, and I've been on the show and saying, like, we're doing this thing as safe as we can, right? We're not going out. We're not masking. Like, we're doing everything as safe as we can. But we decided to give it a shot because of all I had read was that you don't hear too many spikes from airplanes and stuff like that. Airplane air is like as pure as it gets almost. It's almost too clean in that regard. And the only challenge there was the airport. Terminal 4, Sky Harbor, when we were leaving Thursday evening, it was packed. And even though there's a mask mandate, there were some people who obviously weren't wearing their masks. There was one.
Oh, green freeze. I don't know.
He couldn't talk on his phone with a mask on, so he was having a conversation with, his mask off. And there's one lady who went up to the counter, like the Southwest people were working, to ask them a question about, I think, her seat. She took her mask off to talk to them. I'm thinking, like, what are you doing? So, like, that happened. But the plane, there were no people in middle seats. That was their thing. Everyone wore their masks. And we got to San Diego, and honestly, San Diego was great. People were wearing masks. Everyone was social distancing. Everything we did was outside. And we did swing by Pure Project Friday. We went to the San Diego Zoo first. We went over to the Balboa Park location because they have outdoor seating.
And I love that place, man. It is so nice.
We got there. They had a spot for us. They didn't have any outside tables, but they had their long tables inside. Like they're probably 10-foot long tables. They just put people like on the ends. That's it. You know, like, and that's where we sat. And we were right by the big door. So it's like airflow was wonderful. And like they were doing temperature checks when you walked in. They had a pathway when you were going in. You had to walk a certain direction before, like you couldn't just go random places and find spots. So they had it really well organized. And I guess the gist of what I'm getting at is they had it seem to be as safe as it could possibly be. You know, like you're never as safe as you're at home, and everybody knows that. And I'm not pretending that we didn't take a chance, but it felt comfortable pretty much the entirety of San Diego. But we decided on, instead of flying back, to drive back, in part because we had a shit ton of beer that we were going to like,
you did that yourself because you sent text messages and told us what was available, and we just kept saying, yeah, like in for one, two. I'll take
and that didn't include the stuff that was waiting for Brett and I with our friend Brian Jarris, who had picked up, like, proxied a lot of Peer Project for us already. So that combined with the numbers just going crazy and seeing like, if we could avoid one less airport trip, you know, one less time in a terminal, we're probably better off. And the rental car, you know, but it was worth it. It was a good drive back for a lot of reasons: beer, safety, gives us a little bit more time just together on the car ride to enjoy that. You know, it was a good trip back, and overall, as we sit here Tuesday evening, neither of us feel sick in any way. So as long as that continues, it was a worthwhile venture, but I don't think we're going anywhere else anytime soon.
Well, the interesting. Oh, go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, let's also say, you know, you're exemplifying the smart choices that you were making throughout the trip. You made an even safer choice to drive back, and you know, you told us. I mean, we can show you a comment text log full of you guys talking about kind of doing a self-imposed quarantine for a good while after the trip to make sure that you're not putting anybody in danger. And that's the point. I mean, let's embrace the fact that this, for the most part, is our new normal. And I mean, we can talk as much about that as we want to, but like, that's the only kind of trip that anybody could or should take. And you did a great job. I mean, slow clap. Well, you can't stop. You know, there's no 100% at this point, but God, you did everything that you were supposed to do to minimize your risk of exposure and your risk of spreading it after the fact.
And San Diego, though, and to the difference there is, of course, like the weather's awesome. So you can do pretty much everything outside. We were eating outside. We were, you know, we were staying in Little Italy, and our last dinner there Saturday night, we did this place that was, I think it was called Ironside. It's like a fish place. And what they were doing in Little Italy, they were blocking off streets in Little Italy and allowing the restaurants to put more tables outside on the street.
That's cool.
And people were walking around, and that was probably, I mean, like, it wasn't dangerous feeling, but there were a lot of people walking around. Most had masks, you know, so I think you're right. Like, we did it the best we could, and we'll find out if that was good enough. But we did decide we're going to come back, and we're going to try to get a test. We're going to, you know, trying to schedule a test this week just to make sure for our own peace of mind. But until we do get a test and it says you do not have COVID-19, we're quarantining ourselves. Yeah.
Fair enough. So, Bubby, we're sorry that Adam Green won't be able to come see you, but join us on the show. She's probably watching right now.
I hope so.
Let's hope so.
Well, I didn't get to my drink, but I am having a gin and tonic today. A little break from beer. I also didn't get a chance to go to the store and buy some. But yes, apparently fourth wall will give you diabetes. You have given me stout envy at the moment.
I've been IPAs on the show, but I decided to go stout.
Do you have a problem?
Did you say stout envy?
Yeah, what's that? What do you got there, buddy?
I'm going to open the John 5th anniversary.
Can we just like zoom in on Brett while he's trying to open that wax top?
Yeah, I don't think he's having.
Let's just start the timer right now and say he's on.
It was loose and
Yeah, get fucked.
50-50 chance. Really bad time with some wax.
We made a banner and everything.
I a bottle of wine the other day, and I don't know how. I just took a simple frickin' wine key into a bottle of Chateau Tumbleweed wine, and the cork just shredded in half. So I went to go get it out with the wine key, and it just went into the bottle.
That's what coffee filters are for.
We had proper glassware from Brett Barry, too.
Thanks for noticing. I was going to say my first member glass. That is probably my favorite member glass.
I have that glass as well. You may have inspired me to go get a stout out of the fridge here in a minute. I want to quickly say hello to our friends that joined us. We had Andrew say he was drinking Barrel, more mango.
Nice.
Some Humble C from Jeremy.
Two Humble C, I think.
Santan Hef, Mark Thompson, and Amy is drinking a Revision Hazy Life. Thanks for joining us, guys.
If you guys are watching the recording of this later, then you can always tag us on Instagram, share in your stories, or share us on Facebook, and we'll highlight you after this.
Yes, please. Guys, it's getting really hot here. I don't know why I feel so uncomfortable. I'm just going to take this off. Do you guys mind if I just real quick? Oh, boy. There we go.
Humor now.
Oh, that's good. I'm comfy now. That's weird.
You went from thin and attractive in that social distance drinking club shirt to fat.
We're losing our shirts, man. I mean,
Are you wearing another U of A shirt underneath there?
no. It's Phoenix in the middle of the summer. I'm not wearing two shirts.
I was expecting at least one of you to start gagging as I took off my shirt. It's just
I'm breaking in this new hat, but it's just not as comfortable as I thought that it would be. So, that's so much better, you guys. Holy crap.
Yeah. Now
That's a sexy man right there.
There's still only one person with a real college education on this screen.
Brett Barry.
I was going to say it. Right there.
Screw you guys. I got 2 degrees from ASU, okay?
Brett,
yeah, that's how I believe
his master's program.
Yusuf, I believe 2 degrees from ASU rounds to 1.
They were buy one get one free, so fantastic. It turns out if you go there and you just pay the maximum amount for 18 credits, they'll let you take as many as you want. So,
But we're not just wearing our college stuff for any old reason, right? Like, there's a thing here.
College stuff on because we have a guest who I think is an icon amongst some of us who watch ASU football. Big avid ASU fans, sports fans. Mr. Joe Healey is going to join us here in just a minute, and he did a podcast. You podcasted with him at one point, didn't you, Adam? I thought you did.
No, yeah, he does the podcast with Brad Denny. He can speak of it more, speak of the Devils, but they do ASU stuff, and I've been a guest there whenever they're playing U of A in football. I get to preview, and I often talk about how I think Arizona's going to lose, which is always fun to predict that. And then I sometimes predict when Arizona win, and then Arizona still loses. So that's, enjoyable as well. But they do a great job with their podcast. Always have a lot of great ASU guests on. And yeah, that's one of Joe Healey's many talents.
Many talents. The other thing that he is known for is he is the proprietor of College Bar and Grill on Mill Avenue right now at their new location. He'll tell us a little bit more about it. I'm going to go ahead and just bring him in, guys. Joe Healey.
Well,
hey, Joe.
See, that's not a fair entrance for Adam to be nice to me on the way in, because I was ready to, start swinging and talking some crap with my ASU ball opener and everything like that. So he caught me off guard with some pleasantries.
Okay, we can hold on.
Adam, you threw.
So that Joe guy likes ASU. He's such an asshole. Oh, hey, Joe.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Adam, you were throwing Joe off brand there for a second. It confused him.
I was confused, man. Flustered. All right. I think I'm ready to go now.
Joe, tell us what you're drinking. We always ask our guests and our viewers what they're drinking. What do you got?
So in circumstances like these, I just try to keep it kind of simple. I am technically a native Texan, not by much, by about a year. But, hey, I will still represent the hell out of that with the pride and joy of my home state. Little Shinerbach.
Shinerbach is great, man. That was definitely one of my first 5 gateway into craft, and I've never stopped loving that beer, man. It's
a good beer. Is it readily available now here? Because I know it wasn't a few years ago, but I thought I saw it at the store the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you get it fried. I got it sprouts. Yeah, it's pretty much everywhere. You don't have to hunt it down too far.
What's the other quintessential Texas tap beer that they have out there?
There's Lone Star.
Lone Star.
Lone Star, man.
That's it. Thank you. Yes.
Lone Star. Let's go, man.
I know. It's coming to me at the moment. I'm sorry.
Lone Star is kind of like the PBR of it. It seems like it's kind of more kind of the joke of it all versus Shiner. There's a tremendous amount of pride, as I've noticed from there.
For Shiner. By the way,
But-
I really enjoyed this. I noticed it didn't go up because Adam Green probably didn't want to see it, but
He doesn't. That's why he took it out.
Here it again. That's a hello to Joe Healey from Chris Macbeth, by the way. You know Chris, obviously. Joe, he says hello. So tell us
man.
what's going on. How's College Bar doing? You guys moved, obviously, to the Mill Avenue location, reopened back up after the beginning of this quarantine thing, and right now you are still open. You can be open, right?
Yeah. So we had a wild run where we reopened on Mill Avenue a little bit after the new year. Had a few solid months going on, and basketball season was fun. And some new business in the new locations, and new folks that may not have come to the College Avenue location. So things were good. And then with the pandemic hitting, we had to adjust like everybody else. Now we were able to stay open for to-go food and alcohol sales, which was an interesting thing to have to kind of figure out as everybody else was on the fly of how in the world do you do to-go alcohol? Though, I mean, it seems like something wasn't happening before. We'll figure that out. And then as things opened for, restaurants to be able to have greater capacities, we could do that. We're still kind of figuring out things as they are just for the immediate time being moving forward. But we can. And when I say we, I'm certainly speaking for others. My role is a little bit more just to be kind of the loudmouth of the whole situation and, try to piss off U of A fans and that sort of thing. But I do a good job at it, I think.
If you let us in the damn bar, you could see it in person.
Hey.
Exactly. That's one of my favorite memories is the first time we did the dress code and Yusuf was hanging out, having a good time, and Adam came to pick him up. Now, granted, U of A won that basketball game, so he didn't really care at all.
I got outside the bar. Some girl was yelling at me. I'm just like, I don't know what's happening here.
You had to put
It's just kind of watching the whole thing transpire, but yeah. So it's staying alive. I mean, it's a wild time to have any kind of business. I'm thankful. I have just a normal 9-to-5 job that I do from home these days, so things are consistent with that. But as far as the bar is concerned, a lot of people are very supportive of it, and we're just pushing ahehead. Just like everything.
You
we're
guys
trying to
had a post, I think, early on in the quarantine time where you had like was it 32 or 64 ounces of Coors Light and like a pound of wings for $14 or something? I don't know why I didn't immediately go grab it.
Yeah, I mean, we had, even objectively, we had some awesome deals going on throughout pretty much the entire, first run, if you want to call it, of the quarantine, because we had to, try to bring in some business, at a reasonable level, and doing to go, we were able to do everything safely, so we had to, do what we could to get folks through the doors. But yeah, I saw those, and with the business partners that I have that would kind of send me ideas and graphics and things. I'm like, are you sure these numbers are right? Like it says 10, it's not like 25 or something. All right, cool.
Isn't 64 ounces of Coors Light and a pound of wings an associate's degree from ASU?
It's fairly safe. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, because ASU doesn't have associate's degrees. That's a U of A thing.
There you go.
What I'm asking, Joe, is like, I know you guys, a lot of your business is, well, one, just ASU students, and then two, game nights, football games, basketball games. And obviously there's no ASU students and no sports going on right now. So how has that been the adjustment for you guys to keep doing this?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was really trying to rely upon the other folks that support us. And due to the unique location that we had on College Avenue, I mean, that obviously wasn't super conducive to students because it's off the beaten path there. So we were able, through the 2 years that we were there, to get a pretty solid customer base of kind of folks like us, or ones that are out of college, or whatever, people that still want to be in the Tempe area and get some good drinks and good food and that sort of thing. So those were ones that were really helping keep us afloat during that time period. Once things reopened, then that was a greater student population, whether that's people that were around and waiting to get out, or if folks came home. I mean, just it's been interesting to see how ASU students handled the whole quarantine, because many of them, when all the classes went virtual, they just went home for the summer, even though it was April. So that's our customers, that's our employees, things like that. So it was, we had to basically try to work every angle we could.
Well, and the ones that stayed didn't exactly. I mean, that was a bad look for us in general in the state of Arizona. And ASU students going out to pool parties the day we opened back up.
My goodness. Yeah.
Come on. I get Floyd Mayweather is cool and all, but he didn't have to show up here and, invite everybody to go out clubbing.
Yeah, and the pictures of Casa and some of the places on Mill and things like that. I mean, it was, thankfully in the times that I was around, I didn't see things get nearly out of hand, and we did a great job. Our door guys would just basically keep things at a certain head count to try to keep as much spacing as possible. I mean, it's hard to get people to space among themselves, but if at least you control the number of bodies that are in there, then you give yourself a fighting chance. And I gotta tip my cap to the employees, because I mean, these are college age kids themselves that are telling people that they gotta go. It's not an easy thing. One of us we don't really care what 21-year-old thinks of us, but someone who's telling their peer that can be a little tough thing to do, but they're doing it, so I got to credit for it.
How do you go ahead?
I was going to say, that's interesting to me, because I've heard a lot of people try to be like, oh, it's just on the businesses and personal responsibility, but it's like, it's such a damn near impossible task, especially in a bar setting, to try to know who are people that are part of their little quarantine together, right, and who is not, and how do you have rules around that, and how do you monitor that if there's even just dozens of people in the space, right?
Yeah, I mean, the best that we could do is to keep people at tables, and the tables would be usually 4 or 6 people, something like that, and to keep people off of congregating right at the bar. I mean, obviously you go up and get a drink or get their food or whatever, but we didn't keep the seating there, and we if they tried to just kind of hang out, we politely encourage them to not. So that helped for a while, and I was there to see that, and I was happy with that, because I had no idea all these things. There's really no precedent or training for it, so you got to learn on the fly and try to do it, and try to do it well, and be able to resist people's dollars, because there are places, as we've seen other businesses, where they let everybody in as much as they could, because they needed to make money, or they wanted to make money. So that's easier said than done to push that on people that are ready to get in.
I'm sure there was a lot of difficulty with some people. You guys didn't have any issues telling people to get out, right? Did anybody cause a ruckus for their fights, anything like that? If it was too busy, or were people mad that they couldn't get in? If it was bad?
I mean, nothing internally, and that's the cool thing. I mean, honestly, there's never been anything that I've ever been made aware of or seen, and I would have been made aware of in terms of any sort of fights or things like that. And the entire time, 2.5 years I've been involved in this business, I think just the concept that we want to run is just something that's not terribly conducive to people really getting too agitated with one another, to be honest with you. As far as people that might have been, pissed off at not getting in or something like that, either they understood it, or it didn't take too much for them to understand it. We didn't have people that were hollering to talk to a manager or an owner or something like that. They may not have been happy about it, but at least they understood it.
So no carrying.
And I think there were a lot of times where we just kind of, whether it's by the grace of God, whatever it is, just kind of ran up in a comfortable spot where we were kind of right at that breaking point for that particular time, where okay, we're near our modified capacity, but then maybe some people would leave, and then a few would come in, to where it wasn't a massive deal where we had dozens of people trying to get in that we had to turn away.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Well, so
go ahead, Yusuf.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's nice to know, though, that other people maybe not wearing U of A stuff would have to get turned away. You guys are pretty famous for that. When that policy first came on, I laughed. I thought it was funny. I've been to the bar, the old version, and wasn't wearing U of A stuff. I respect the rules. I get it. That's fun. I think it's a great marketing thing and a great branding thing you guys did, even if it is somewhat offensive to me. But that's who you guys are. That's part of your brand. That's what you're, the ASU bar.
Yeah, I mean, and just to give you history on that, basically we opened in December of 2017 over on College Avenue, and then the first ASU U of A basketball game was in February, around Valentine's Day, something like that. So just a few months thereafter, and me and my business partner were trying to figure out how we wanted to work with that, because we wanted to be the ASU bar, and we figured, all right, we got to figure out how we're going to handle this. And he referenced he previously was a DM over at Firehouse on Tempe, the one that was on Millen University. It's a Peter Jungle now. And he recalled the time in the 2013 football game when ASU won the Pac-12 South and beat U of A pretty badly, that there are a lot of U of A fans after the game that tried to get in the bar just to cause trouble. And at that point, he told his door people that, okay, if they're wearing U of A stuff, like, they're just not it. Like, this is just after the game. But so he gave them that rule at that point. And it's one of those like light bulb over your head moments. Like, dude, let's just not do it. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. You know, we didn't expect it to be that big of a thing. So we didn't really know who we were yet at that point, only a few months old. And, you know, we did, because we have a great contingent on social media. So the news got it and it started rolling from there. And then once we did it one time, even though ASU actually lost that game,
you're right.
They did. Yeah. Yeah. That was the one when you were there. But from there, the winning percentage has only improved from there. I think there's
a matter of perspective.
Yeah. Right. You know, but it's one thing when we did it the first time, it's like, okay, we can't not do it. And so it was always the case. If anybody watching this isn't aware of what we do, it's when ASU plays U of A in men's basketball or football, regardless location, during that day, we don't let anyone in wearing the colors, logos, jerseys, anything like that. If people come in neutrally and they start acting up, we'll keep an eye on them. And the thing is, like Adam said, like, most people, especially after that first one, there were some people that were agitated because nobody knew who we were. It was a new thing. And there were some U of A fans. It's kind of cool that they came just to, like, try to get in and piss us off, especially after the game.
I remember that.
It's like it kind of riles you up, but at the same time, like, you know what? At least they know about it. And then after that, honestly, there really wasn't too much to it, and there haven't been too many times. I mean, all those games I get a little, like, antsy about it. I'm like, all right, I'm just waiting for somebody to do something crazy, and it just has never really happened. So, you know, we got known for that. The first one created some crazy stuff. A couple of people on the U of A side called the liquor board to complain about, like, discrimination.
Called the liquor board to complain about discrimination?
Yeah. And saying it was protected class, which isn't necessarily true. And they got subsequently laughed at because, I mean, in reality, and it's true, is that it's a security measure. And I get it because, you know, for both sides. I mean, I'm as into this rivalry as anybody, and I could envision myself being that ASU fan in a bar that sees a U of A fan minding his or her own business, and I'm the idiot that starts jawing at them and causing some trouble. You know, that's the kind of thing where the volatility is so intense that to keep both sides apart is the smart thing. And the liquor board sees it as such. Obviously, in the eyes of the liquor board, anything that promotes safety, security, that's their number one MO. And it's a dress code. It's not, you know, based on gender or race or religion, these sort of things. It's not like that's the reason that we're not allowed.
For the most part, we all go just fine. I mean, I have to share this screen a couple of times a week with 3 of those guys. And it's, I mean, it's rough. Yep.
It's a public service thing. So,
but I will say this: we had a really good time. Everyone's been super cordial, and I miss going out to football games and coming out there and hanging out and stuff. We haven't done that in a while, actually, since I think I disappeared from the last one. But there is this really sad photo of Adam Green not getting into your bar at one point.
I think was that after the game though? Yeah, that was after the game.
It was after the game.
Like, we won that game.
Yeah, but you weren't wearing or you were wearing your U of A gear, so you couldn't get in.
Yeah, I understood. I didn't want to
go. Man, I hadn't seen that before. Yeah, that was, you know, and I was fired up because I went into the game, of course, like I do, and I remember. I mean, it was a competitive game. It wasn't a blow by any stretch of the imagination, but it was, you know, the issue was no longer. It didn't go down to the buzzer. I'll put it that way. So I left the arena a little bit before the end of the game just so I can get back and run security and kick people out. That was pretty much my catharsis.
Which guy, Gabriel? Which guy? Who are you asking about?
And I remember that night, Joe, like, we were just talking outside the bar. I'm like, just talking about the game, talking about whatever. I said how this was going. You know, I wasn't mad. I wasn't, like, talking shit or anything. It was like, yes, whatever. Like, we won the game, cool. Like, yeah. You guys were busy. I was talking to you. I was talking to Nick, I remember. And I remember this drunk girl just came out and starts yelling at me. I'm just standing there like,
what did she say? You should be like tarred and feathered or something like
she's
that?
Like, it sucks. I'm just like, okay. Like, I know what the score of the game was. I was at it, but I'm just going to stand here. take this. You're a drunk. But it's like also like you talk about like the dynamic. The people are going like we're the olds, right? Like we're like okay, whatever. It's fine. That's all of us on this show. We're not the college kids. We're not the 21, 22-year-olds who are just like fired up about every little thing. We care about our schools and our teams. But we're not the types. Well, you were saying maybe you would be the one who jaws at people in the bar, but like for the most part, we're not going there. We're not going to these places to cause trouble. And I know if I saw you jawing at me, given that you've worked out once or twice, I'd probably just let you do it and not try to escalate that thing any further.
Well, screw it. Get in there. I think you could take Joe in a fight easy. At least an arm wrestling match at the very minimum.
I'll take that.
Maybe when quarantine's all over, Joe Healey, we're gonna have to have like an ASU U of A arm wrestling, podcasters.
Well, can we not?
Matchup.
It could be. I almost wore my curling shirt that I still have.
The territorial curl
that Adam was a part of. Do you guys know about this? Yusuf, do you know about this?
No. Is there a photo somewhere I can dig up so I can show people?
I can find it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the story, and Adam can fill it. So 2014, it was Shane that put it together, right?
I think it was Shane. Yeah, Shane and Brad put it together.
Shane Dale put it together. It was a curling showdown between, and I don't know if that was something. I know Brad started doing it, but I don't know if he was doing it. I don't know how curling ended up being the medium that we used, but basically got a group of some ASU people, some U of A people, and we had a curling match game. I don't know what the term is for it, and the ASU side won. I mean, it was actually pretty damn fun. But we went down to Four Peaks tasting room, had some beers. I mean, it was a cool day. But yeah, we have some curling jerseys. I don't know if I'm. Is it a kit? Is it like soccer? I don't know if what quarrel.
The territorial quarrel.
I think a quarrel is when they call 5 curlers. I think it's called a quarrel.
Those are not words that a Southerner would use, but territorial quarrel is just about as perfect a Southern slang rhyme as you can get.
That sounded like you
tired. I want to know in my territorial or in my curling career. So,
hey Adam, that territorial quarrel sounded like Yusuf doing a Boston accent with a bunch of marshmallows in his mouth.
You guys are officially not allowed to do that anymore because we've already been my Boston accent's been approved. Jack Maxwell said it wasn't bad. He is
He's a really nice guy, though, and you know that.
Yeah, he's not going to tell anybody they suck.
He didn't say it was good.
I guess.
Anyway.
Anyways, Brett, you had a question for Joe, right?
Yeah. Hey, Joe, I'd be curious to hear your perspective as somebody that owns a bar. The governor decided to quickly do a second semi-shutdown, right? I'm curious to hear your perspective. I know on this show we were concerned that all the people that we shall say were just less than following the rules were going to hurt more businesses in the long run than just observing distancing rules and being responsible after the first pause. I'm curious to hear your perspective as a business owner and a bar owner going into the second shutdown, and how do you think that's going to impact most food and drink businesses in town?
Yeah, I mean it is a tough thing because they're just like any industry, any business. There were places that were being very strict with the rules. There were places that were being very lenient with the rules. I mean, there are things that we all saw in the news from day one. I mean, from the literal first day that things were opened back up, that we saw a bunch of chaos. And it's not something that's necessarily treated subjectively to where, okay, business ABC, you are guilty of doing these things, so you cannot do this, you cannot operate, but these others can. So it's a very swooping thing. I mean, gosh, we've seen everything about, and I'm a gym guy, and I'm as frustrated as many people that the gyms are now shut down. But we've seen the CEO from Mountainside that is, trying to litigate against Ducey and that sort of thing. So, people from various outposts that are, very, very displeased about it. I mean, obviously, it's just something that, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, we would want to find a way to mitigate and decrease and hopefully, God willing, eliminate the everything that's going on, just so that we can all get back to normal life and just move on from it. And instead of kind of taking small bits and pieces to be able to get the normal operations in a safe way that's compliant with everything. So, I understand. It's just, I guess it's frustrating because it's just an indication that on a societal level, that if people are given an inch, they'll take it tomorrow. If you give them a little bit of freedom, that they're going to go a little crazy with it. I've gone to the bar on a handful of occasions in the last couple of months, or however long it's been since things have reopened, and that's typically when there's really not much going on, and things are well maintained. Am I going to go to these places that you see on the news that are wall-to-wall people? I probably wouldn't do that anyway, but even in this circumstances, not. So it is frustrating to kind of have to suffer this widespread wrath that is, maybe a product of maybe not a small few offenders, but not everybody is doing the same thing. So
we talked on the show for the last several weeks where it's like, this is a situation where 1 or 2 weak links breaks the chain, and I feel like we're unfortunately reaping the repercussions of those weak links right now. And I don't even own a business, but I'm sure if I owned a bar or restaurant, I would have been less than pleased with the people that were being irresponsible, because you could see this was coming, and my livelihood is not dependent on it, but the places I care about and people I care about that own those kind of places have to deal with those repercussions, such as yourself.
So I told you so, but we fucking told you so, guys.
Yeah, if only this could have been predictable.
I tell you, here's what not to do, though. Don't do what the Texas bar owner did and organize an all bars matter protest on the Texas governor's lawn.
That tasted bad listening to.
Oh, it's the worst. Like this guy owns a few bars, and he orchestrated this thing with a few other people, and they banned masks in their establishments.
By the way, Adam, did you see? Somebody got ratioed on Twitter today, where a guy was like, "I would sacrifice 1 million dead bodies for college football season to start on time."
I saw that.
He was joking.
That's unreal.
And like the best part is, I feel like I have a good sense of what that guy's pro-life stance probably is.
It's a whole different conversation, though.
Let's talk about
the Colorado fan too. They're better off not having a season.
Talking about sports, though, I had this crazy thought. You ready? It's conspiracy corner time.
Ooh.
Okay.
Is this a thing? How did we just go?
We got a banner and everything.
We got a banner. It's a thing right now. Okay, you ready?
Great.
Hear me out.
This is Adam Anon.
Hear me out. Arizona fans, well, the dumbest of the Arizona fans, shut your mouths, have decided that they're going to be the ones to perpetuate this whole idea of like keeping COVID afloat and keeping it active because they just can't stand the idea of another loss to ASU. Plot twist. All the dumb ASU fans who have been talking incessant shit for like many years now, at least how many years for the Territorial Cup now? Anyway, they recognize how insufferably bad winners they have been. So they're also now realizing that they can't bear to suffer the consequences of actually losing to Arizona this next year. So they too are perpetuating the coronavirus. And that's why all the dum-dums are in Walmart. Because let's face it, anybody who's got that kind of fragility of their ego tied to a sports team shops at Walmart.
That was a really weird way of insulting.
How did you get there?
I'm just trying to mix it up.
All just got blasted there.
That was a long road to insult everyone watching this.
Everyone, absolutely
everybody. Yeah.
Hey, conspiracies can't make sense, and they have to be offensive on some fundamental level, or they're not good conspiracy theories.
Offensive to your sensibilities, not to like your being.
This conspiracy was so bad, I actually think JFK might have been assassinated by Cuban secret agents at this point. That makes more sense.
But here's a little thing. So since the two schools have been in the Pac-10 when they entered in '78, so ASU's obviously won 3 in a row. ASU has not won 4 in a row over U of A, since 1978, which is the year that was the fourth of the 4 years. So no time in the Pac-10, Pac-12 as ASU won 4 in a row, which is on the table this year. So maybe there are some conspiracies that are just trying to keep that lack of superlative alive. I don't know.
Well, you're probably not the right guy, but we got you on camera, so at least we could see. Even though you might say one thing, your eyes might belie your real thoughts here. But I don't know what the record is, like the last 10 games between the two schools. I think ASU is probably like 6-4 or 7-3 or something like that. But tell me I'm wrong when I say for probably 60% of the games ASU's won, they probably shouldn't have won. And I'm not saying that Arizona was the better team, but injuries, things that just crazy, stupid shit that's happened. Those teams. It's been a very even matchup for the better part of the last 10 games or so.
Hey, Yusuf, you don't get to contribute here because you never watch the end of the games when ASU comes back.
Yeah, you haven't been in the second half of a game in 6 years.
It's not true. That happened one time.
BJ Danker year, ASU was better. I mean, that's the one you were talking about. I remember, like when you guys won the Pac-12 South. And BJ Danker, I think, was it the pick six that happened? Like,
Demarius Randall. Yeah, I know it was an absolute blowout. Yeah,
like that one wasn't even close. Every other game that's ASU's won since then has been either closer than it should have been, or again that Arizona just blew.
I want to,
and that's why, like,
the boys are just a little more comfortable. Him and I, at least, Joe and I are going to be a little more comfortable. We're just going to be in Sun Devil Stadium now. Is that okay? There we go. I just figured you guys missed it. Go ahead, Joe. I just changed
right there.
And thinking about it, I wonder if I would want it any other way. You know, if the 2010 game, if you could say ASU wins by 10 points in regulation, as it could. I mean, that game was weird. Or wins by way of 2 blocked extra points. Or
the second one was blocked. He kicked it on his lineman's ass. All right, that's not a block.
Well, does the lineman doesn't get credit for a block? Okay. And then the 2018 game again, if that could have worked out any other way with just a normal win for ASU. So, but yeah, no, to your point, and that's why I never, ever feel comfortable about it. This past year was one of the strangest sports experiences of my life because during the game, I felt a sense of peace, and I've never, even in that 2013 game you're talking about, even in 1996, you know, like into the second half, I'm like, okay, ASU's up, 49-7, they could still come back, something like that. But this year, it was just a different type of feel. But yeah, any intelligent fan of this rivalry knows that all bets are off, and usually it's in favor of. If ASU has the better record, that U of A is more likely to, pull the upset or make things competitive than the other way around. I mean, there were, 2014 when U of A won the South. That was a good game, but ASU lost that one. And
it was a great game.
That streak under or that stretch under Dennis Erickson with a few losses. I mean, that was kind of a dark time in general. But yeah, no, I mean, it's never comfortable. So yeah, there are games where it could have obviously gone either way, and a few of those are within about a handful of those are within the last decade or so. So it's,
I think you're right.
You know what I mean?
I think you're right, Joe, because I always tell people, I'm like, anybody that thinks that this rivalry game is ever more than a 60-40 proposition of who's going to win is lying to you or just flat out wrong. Even when one team is great and the other team is terrible, that's when we can win a game without throwing a pass for the entire second half.
There you go. And God willing, it'll be a while before you win that game.
To be fair, Joe, Brad and I went to that game together, and I remember we realized in the second half, it's like, one, Arizona's still winning, and two, when was the last time they threw a pass? We just thought it was the stupidest game we'd ever seen. Like, I think Arizona won 3 games that season. Arizona was terrible that year. Yeah. It's just like this game was so delightfully dumb. It was just one of it wasn't like we were laughing more than even like I think beating our chests over that, which was like that was just
right, yeah, and that was just I mean that was all hell breaking loose for ASU. I mean the amount of games lost due to injury, but I mean that was if you can't,
you don't get to blame injury.
All right, but I mean they still talent wise again. If you're talking about a game that ASU should have won just on paper, yeah, I mean this talent, the talent that lined up that day was still there, so that was.
Speaking of talent,
weird.
by the way, boy, would you look at this? The territorial curl.
Look at those babies.
I see a ton of talent on the left side there, and on the right side, I believe that is a prison chain gang that had to go clean up afterwards.
Did you bring Michael Irish and Zach Kollick to try to win an athletic competitive event?
Yeah, we were short on U of A people. I think we had someone else that canceled at the last second. I forget who it was.
There we go. That's
So that right to left, that's Brad, me on the right side, and then Mike Wren, that's the father of my godson Cam, and Matt Pinnock, MVP on the left. And none of us obviously had ever curled before. It's fairly easy to learn and do. So for guys in their 30s and such at the time, it's not something where, although somebody, God, who was it? Was it Shane? No, it wasn't me. Somebody I remember just, somebody just ate it.
like actually fell when they were trying to sweep, or what?
You remember that? Like I thought it was somebody on your team, and I don't know if it was Shane or not, but I thought I mean they didn't get hurt, but on the service, like that doesn't look
my
good.
money's on my friend Zach, just because he's not good at the sports. But I don't
just wear your suit. I don't know if
Wait.
anybody knows.
This is Adam Green saying somebody else is not good at the sports.
That's how you know he's really not good at the sports.
So I don't know if we told this or people know. Like you just wear regular like Nikes or whatever. You wear your shoes. You're not wearing ice skates and things like because it's a different kind of ice. It's not like ice rink ice. It's less slippery. I don't know. So you have to have you felt athletic because you had to have some kind of footwork. Like you're drilling back to like these. I was drilling back to my basketball days of doing like defensive slides and stuff. From 15, 20 years earlier. But yeah, I forget I just remember seeing somebody eat the deck, and I was like, oh boy, it might not be good.
I don't remember who did that. It means it definitely wasn't me. I know that.
Right. Yeah. But
how long ago was this?
2014, I want to say.
All right.
Yeah, it was like earlier, springtime of 14.
Yeah.
It might be time to bring it back. We might have to have a new.
We talked about doing it again. I know.
Yeah. It's kind of like shuffleboard.
Still exists.
Like it's adult shuffleboard.
I'm in. I think you know what? You guys already have a team right here. You've got your U of A team. Joe and I.
One more, we can easily do that.
We'll get Sam Frazier in there to curl. And
Brad, I'm sure Brad's a ringer at this point because I think he got in the league or something, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I was in the league with Brad.
He's out.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, I'm marrying a Canadian girl, so I might be a natural.
Oh, boy. There's a ringer. Okay.
No, Brad, she swept you off your feet.
Wow. That was solid non-blue humor.
Non-blue humor?
I think Adam nailed it.
That was a dad joke. I have a license.
Indeed. Well, we didn't touch on it, but I do miss. Do we think we're going to see college football this year? How do we feel about that?
No.
Spring.
Honestly, looking at the way things are going with the postponements, you guys know, married to a pulmonologist, and she talks with epidemiologists all the time and public health officials, and it will be shocking if it happens. I mean, I don't want to bet on something as horrible as the future of humanity, but I would bet any amount of money that we're not going to see a football season.
Hey, Adam, you may be married to a pulmonologist, but I saw a guy retweeting El Gato Malo. The data says that Fauci is wrong and masks actually cause illness.
I'm really enjoying the gas station attendant who is retweeting, you guys got to look at the data, the statistics. And I'm like, can you spell statistics? Like, shut up.
Statistics. Well, let's talk about these magical masks that somehow are so porous that they let in any kind of viral particles but trap all invisible gases like
CO2.
You mean the same kind of masks that your doctor wore when he did that 8-hour surgery, that total knee replacement? Yeah, he totally passed out with it on, too.
Don't you know about all the doctors dropping dead from wearing their surgical mask for the surgery because of asphyxiation?
The media will never tell that story, Brett. Hang on. Let's take a moment though, because we always get hot about this because we're all, I think, reasonable, logical, science-oriented people. But I tell you what, I don't have any truly while we're doing this, man, I'm making my big moment. I'm making my big point.
Yusuf, waiting to get your credibility.
There we go.
Truly, everyone. No, here's the real deal, though. I think that in some ways, oftentimes we'll come off as left-leaning on the show for various reasons. But realistically, like, I don't know any intelligent conservative friends. I don't know any intelligent liberal friends. I don't know any intelligent libertarian friends, honestly, who are not wearing masks. This is not a party thing. It shouldn't be a political thing. There was political maneuvering. It would be hard to deny that early on we took some positions just to try to gain an advantage. But at this point, like, it's like 80% of people say they wear masks most of the time. And very, very few people, like 7%, I wish it was less, but in the grand scheme of things, there's like 7% of people who are not wearing masks. And honestly, like, we should all refocus all of our energy to just root out that last 7% stronghold of the true crazy actual conspiracy theory fucknut weirdos who are not wearing masks. And like, let's hold them down and tie them up and put a mask on them. I don't know.
I am not. Listen, again,
I don't know what to do, but like, it's not a political thing at this point. Honestly, like, the numbers are just being fucked by all these just stupid idiots. Oh, also in kids wanting to get laid. And that has never been a party thing.
Here's the thing. I just want to
drink beer and get laid. That's always going to be a thing.
I just want to say that you came on the show just now, and I have to privilege check you because you just said out loud that you wanted to hold down conservatives and tie them down, and I can't say that as a brown guy with my name, Yusuf.
100% said the opposite of that, Yusuf. No, but I would say the opposite of that.
I was going to say that
the crazies. Sorry, the
I was
crazies.
going to say that, Adam, that was well said, but one of those crazies is going to go back and edit the first part of what you said, and it just says, "I have no intelligent conservative friends." And then,
I have no intelligent conservative friends.
And on that note,
idiots. Yeah, exactly.
Tell us what you're drinking, please. I saw Adam Green got more beer. That
Way to go with it. No comfort. Something
right. Kind of like none of us are comfortable with that conversation just now.
What a headline on the craft beer drudge report, the drunk report, is going to be Adam Ledford slams conservatives. No intelligent.
Drunk report.
Especially when like Yusuf confirms the opposite of the point that I was making. Like,
no, but here's the good
news. Go down.
We'll be famous now. You know.
Hey. So that's why I drink Terramana tequila. You know what?
Is that the Rocks one?
Let's just tie them all down. You're big and strong. You have the ability to make things happen in a physical way. Let's tie everybody down and make them wear a mask.
Oh, I can't wait.
By the way, when you said Terramana tequila, all I heard was that being said to the tune of Inagata Davida, and I want to hear that song.
Terramana tequila.
Okay, theme song for the Thursday episode.
So, for the record, though, if anyone's watching now, we're not tying people up. We're not forcing people to wear masks. It's not our style.
As a matter of fact, I'm in the wrong room. I have to go.
Hyperbole, folks. Hyperbole. It's
but Joe, maybe you
for comic effort.
None of us wanted to be in a position where things were getting closed down or locked down again. That was the whole point. We knew when we suffered through that first, was it 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it was. It's like, let's do this for a reason. Let's do this. Let's have the short-term pain so we could do this the right way, not to go through it again. Now that in Arizona anyway, and a lot of, I think Texas, California too, but they're going back to it. It's like, come on, like there's ways out of this. The European countries seem to be doing fine. Certain states are doing better than others. So it's like, there is a way out of this. And like, we want to be able to go back to restaurants. We want to go to college bar, not on a rivalry game night because, I get it. Like we all want to be able to do those things again. And we see the way out is being not stupid. Like, it's not about being smart. We're not geniuses on this show. It's just being not stupid.
Speak for yourself. I'm a savant.
Okay.
It's a safe space, Yusuf. Yes, you are a savant. But that's how we feel, John. I know, like, you're a business owner, so you obviously probably can't have as strong opinions as we can here, but we all want the same thing. At the end of the day, we all want to get back to normalcy. It might be slightly different in the meantime, but we want to be able to go to restaurants. We want to be able to go to bars, do it safely, and spend our money and enjoy our lives again. And, like,
Yeah, I mean,
have a similar idea.
I mean, everybody just wants, things to be normal. I want to be able to have my normal routine of going to the gym and going to games and going to bars and hanging out. And I mean, my God, like, people just having these horrible, unnecessary pissing contests over things like masks. And I embrace what you all are saying, but, like, the fact that topic alone is such a hot button issue that's what people are talking about. Like, give me a damn break, man. Like, let's figure it out and just do it. And I know a lot of people, and it even took me, no, I don't want to say it took me a little bit to come around, but it's just like, it should already be enough is enough for everybody, you know?
And that's the thing. Like, a lot of people I know finally started when they were like, look, if I got to wear it, maybe I don't agree with it. Maybe I don't like the idea of wearing a mask. Or if they seem to be statisticians and, more intelligent than epidemiologists, they have made their decision. But, like, people are just asking you to, like, wear a mask and wash your damn hands. That's all, guys. Like, all you have to do is wear it for a few minutes when you go to the store, buy your groceries. Like I said the other day on the show, you're not going to Fry's to have a fucking 2-hour water cooler conversation in the deli section. So, like, wear the mask for 15 minutes.
Hey.
Groceries.
Hey, Eduardo's very nice and a good conversationalist.
Well, I mean,
See? Privileged. You just said
Can we change our background really quick, please? This is really uncomfortable for me, by the way. I've never seen that many people in Sun Devil Stadium before, and I don't know when this was taken. Is that Obama speaking for graduation?
Was that when you
it's not a Cardinals game circa 1990. I'll tell you how much.
No, that is a 2013 Pac-12 championship.
That makes sense. That makes sense because if you look over Adam Ledford's right shoulder, they're in a Pac-12 championship game, and I see plenty of seats available next to Adam Ledford's right shoulder.
Yeah, that's the away section, definitely.
Okay.
Anyway,
don't go on the secondary market at all.
Hey, let's talk about, like, Joe, you made a really good point, and I think that the point that gets overlooked a lot of times is it fun and friendly to have something fun and turn away, like, people in U of A gear at your bar? Yes, it is. It's preventative, it's intelligent, you're eliminating future risk, and it is in no way discriminatory or infringing on anybody's rights. So all the crazies out there, how about you take that same argument and you apply it to the idea that if an individual business asks you to do anything that they want you to do, you comply to that or you take your business elsewhere.
That's what I did when Costco told me that I had to hop one leg the entire time I was in the meat section. That's what I did. It's simple.
I think that was just the sample girl fucking with you, Yusuf.
She worked there. she told me I could make it from the lamb to the turkey and that I could get free samples, and they're not even giving samples right now.
Yusuf, that was Bubby.
Yusuf was hungry.
Such a heartfelt point, and just really spun it around.
Just saying, man.
It's not that.
To bring it back around, I don't know. I just try to live my life easy. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if this is what's going to get us to where we need to be, I love this country as much as anybody on the planet, but dude, I'm not going to be some idiot that's trying to pull a gun on somebody because they want me to wear something that's going to help myself and others. You know what I mean? Like, it's beyond stupid. So I don't know. I don't know why pride or stubbornness or whatever the hell it is.
What if,
again, like you guys are talking about, like, if you go in the store, you go for 5 minutes, even if it's the worst experience of your life to have this piece of material on your face, just freaking do it and get on out.
Exactly. Simple, easy. Also, like, man, we could have had college sports if everybody wasn't stupid. But now we're not.
You guys, speak of the Devils, had that tweet. Like, if you want to see this, like, I think it was a Jaden Daniels touchdown against Washington State, which, by the way, that game should not have been that close. You guys are lucky to win that one, too. But it was like, do you want to see more of this? If you want to see more of this, wear a mask. Like, that's the point. Like, we all want this to end. We're not saying wear a mask because we think you're ugly. We're saying wear a mask because we want this pandemic to end as soon as possible with as little death as possible, and wearing a mask will help that.
And some
we've
of
already
you-
established.
Sorry, it was a great play by Jaden Daniels. It was.
Yeah. I'll tell you this much, and I'm not going to try to make this, this pandemic seem selfish at all, but if for any reason, say if college football doesn't happen, and let's say if it extends into college basketball, let's say dating back to the spring of 2020 and then going through the end of the calendar year, if college baseball, football, basketball will not have been played for the 2020 year, it will be some weird juju against ASU. And again, I know that's not the biggest deal, but just going into it, because the baseball team had the number one pick in the country, number one pick in the land, and the most draft picks of the 5 rounds that existed, and could have done some damage, at least more so than has been the case. But that season got wiped out after like 17 games. Football can compete in the South. There are a lot of variables, but they could. Basketball had the best recruiting class of all time, so if that gets wiped out and those guys go to the draft and never play an actual minute of ball in Tempe, I'd stop smiling at him. I don't want you to
No, I was thinking how adorable it was you guys had a top 10 recruiting class like that. That's fun. Like that. Yeah, no,
I don't think we got top 10. I don't think don't sell them that high. If they were.
No, it is top 10. They have a top 10 recruiting class in basketball this year. And I find
they're two 5-stars, Bagley and Josh Christopher.
Yeah,
I mean, those are big time guys. So
Oh, yeah.
I know what you're saying. That's how it goes, right?
how weird happens, So that would be, but it would be a very ASU thing to happen. I hate to say that because of my passion for the university, but it would be like, we can't have nice. What would be we WCN? We can't have nice things university. I don't know what that acronym breaks out to because I've had a few shiners, but
WCHN.
maybe state.
We'll get
can't
the
have nice
state up for you
things.
guys if it happens.
So, yeah, but that would be a thing if the entire 2020 calendar year got locked out of major college sports and you didn't see any of that. It would have been something. And on a side note, because I've got to know the baseball team very, very well through some people that I know, and it sucks to see, these student athletes who are out there, livelihoods potentially affected because they don't have the opportunity to prove themselves on the field. For ASU, thankfully, a lot of them were still able to maximize what they had and get drafted and that sort of thing. But there were some that probably could have proved that. So that's something that this has some long-term effects for sure.
Well, what we want to see is to be able to do this. Chris McBeth submitted that photo right there, hanging out at your bar during the next.
That's awesome.
We want to go back to hanging out and doing those things, and more moments like this.
There you go. There you go.
Tech, man, if it's that big of a problem.
What I like is somebody took the time to act up the "I'm allergic to Tucson" part of your shirt. Like they photoshopped it, but instead of dabbing up your eyes or making you look different, they were just like, make sure we can read that.
No, I think that's the shirt. I've seen that shirt before.
No, it's much brighter in the center. It may be the camera having a light on the top of it. That could be it too.
I think it's just the heavens shining down on the truth.
They literally has body is all swollen from the allergic reaction.
Dude, whoever spelled Tucson right on that shirt got an honorary PhD from the English department at ASU.
You know what? I will not let you speak
To be
ill
fair,
of
I don't
my
government
favorite
can't
English
spell
teacher I
Tucson,
ever had.
What had happened?
The federal guy, I think when Pence was going to visit, they sent a press release saying they were going to visit Tucson, but they spelled Tucson wrong.
I remember that.
It's on brand.
Yeah.
That actually-
So congratulations. I don't like this shirt, but I'm glad at least it was spelled correctly.
I didn't make it, but kudos to the people that did it. It would have been a
no
bad
kudos. Not like that.
Yeah.
Guys, we're up past an hour.
Can I say one thing real quick? I was going to say to Joe's point, like it is actually really sad. There's a lot of athletes and people that were like geared up for March Madness and things that are not getting to chase their dreams or, for ASU. Like, yeah, they're set up for pretty good success in a couple of sports. And I'm not the person that roots against ASU. I actually want ASU to be as good as possible. And then we destroy them every time. Because that's the kind of thing I am. But yeah,
we did it correctly. We have a top recruiting team without
Right.
Viola, according to Chris.
Right, Chris.
Keep rolling on your point, Brett.
Yeah, sorry. Go look up the basketball recruiting rankings and see who's higher. I don't know. No, but like it all comes back to just be responsible, wear masks, stop trying to have pride or weird identity politics things that makes you reject science and basic decency to other people. It's not just about you, it's about other people.
Let's have actual sports to talk shit to each other about. Let's have
Yeah, we need that.
Let's get
Here's
back to
the
that.
thing.
You know, that's all we want.
Because you know that this whole thing, ASU was supposed to play U of A in baseball on a Tuesday night non-conference game that got rained out, and then it was going to be rescheduled for St. Patrick's Day, which is going to be awesome.
Amazing.
That'd have been a great time.
That was when the hammer came down. That ASU was supposed to play U of A in baseball in a non-conference game at Phoenix Municipal Stadium, the day that things got shut down. So like,
Really good
both teams were going to be good.
program.
Boys, let's have some more sports talk in the post show. Really hang tight with us. We're going to wrap up because we're about 5 minutes past the hour right now. But I really appreciate you being here, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest today, Mr. Joe Healey, a local celebrity in some circles and proprietor and one of the partners over at College Bar and Grill Tempe. Check them out. I'm sure you guys are still. You said you're still open, so people you can still get some things to go from there. And apparently, maybe a pound of wings for low price on one of the days a week. I don't know. But thank you for your time, my friend. This has been another episode of the Social Show. Hang tight. Take care, everybody.